Hello, everyone. We want to welcome you to our webinar today. We're excited to have Pat Lakacher from Innovia Consulting joining us, and Pat will be presenting on license brainstorming, license functionality in NAV and Business Central. And before I pass it over to Pat to cover on this topic, I would like to let you know that we are recording this session and it will be posted to our on-demand webinar library for you to review and share with anyone. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to type those in the questions box and we will get them answered during our Q&A time at the end of our session. And so now I'm going to pass it on to Pat to kick off our presentation.
Thank you, Angie. Good morning and welcome, everyone. And as Angie had mentioned, I'm Pat Lakacher, and I'm a customer engagement specialist at Innovia. I have been working with NAV and Business Central for over 20 years in a variety of different roles. Today, I'll be reviewing how functionality is licensed between both NAV and Business Central with you. So let's get started. I will be covering the functionality licensing in both NAV and Business Central. In NAV, the functionality is packaged in what we call packs. So we have starter and extended packs. And in Business Central, we have essential and premium users. So the licensing is structured quite differently within both of them. Now, please keep in mind that if you are running on NAV and you have an on-premise or a perpetual license, that you can continue to purchase additional functionality and users as long as you are current on your maintenance. However, any new customers can no longer purchase NAV. They can only purchase Business Central. But it's important to note that Business Central is built from NAV, so it is very NAV-like. Today, we're going to review the levels of functionality between the starter and the extended packs for NAV and the essential and premium user within Business Central. This session will focus on both, as I mentioned, NAV, Business Central licensing. We'll take a look at some license limitations, the criteria in selecting what is the right license and when. We'll look at the license costs. Finally, I'll go over how to add additional functionality to your license. And finally, we'll open it up to a Q&A period. So we're going to start with NAV, and what I cover is going to apply to NAV 2013 to 2018 on-prem. The NAV functional licensing is, you could consider a series of building blocks. It has three components. It all starts with a starter pack, and the starter pack is a one-time purchase, and it is required. It also comes with 3 full users, and it includes all of the NAV functionality except for service management, manufacturing, and project management. So if your organization needs any of this type of functionality, we would now go up to the next building block, which is the extended pack. And the extended pack includes these areas, and it is optional. Once again, it's a one-time purchase, but if you don't need any of that functionality, you don't need to pay for it. Finally, additional users can be added, and we can add full or limited users, and you can add additional users whether you're on the starter pack or the extended pack. And if you're unsure, you can always start out with a starter pack because that's where most of the functionality is, and add the extended pack later. This is a great option for companies that maybe say they're a distributor or service or a distributor, and now they're going to acquire a manufacturing company. When they acquire the manufacturing company, they're going to have some different needs. So at that point, they can purchase the extended pack. Now, as we look at the Business Central functional licensing, we'll see that it's structured very differently than how NAV was. Instead of building blocks, we have the functionality within the user type. The first user type is essential, and this includes all the functionality except for manufacturing and service management. And it does include project management. So that's one of the differences between NAV and Business Central licensing. If you decide that you need service management and manufacturing, then you would need to purchase a premium license. So Business Central is pretty straightforward. You either have essential licenses or you have premium licenses, and that's what dictates the functionality. If we take a look at an essential license, we'll see that most of the Business Central functionality, such as financial management, customer relationship management or CRM, human resource management, and project management are included. In addition, it includes supply chain management, which houses your inventory, your sales order management, and your purchase order management. It also includes warehouse management. So you can pretty much see that most of the functionality belongs to the essential user license. If you do need the service management or manufacturing functionality, then you would move up to the premium license. The good thing is, if you don't need any of this functionality, just by purchasing the essential licenses, you're not paying for it. Whereas some products you end up paying for a lot of areas that you may not even need. There are two types of full user licenses within Business Central. In the session yesterday, I went over that a full user license is required for anyone that would be considered a power or professional user. They're in Business Central for the majority of the day. They're processing a lot of transactions and they need to post transactions. Okay, these two levels, essential and premium, dictate what functionality you get. And at least one essential or premium full user license is required to run Business Central. This is because all the inherent functionality required to set up the system, access all the tables, and do any kind of administrative work is housed in a full user license. Now, the next point is extremely important because you cannot combine essential and premium users. There's no hybrid model. What this means is that if you need the functionality that is offered in the premium, for instance, you have one person that in the shop that needs manufacturing, but no other users do, you still need to purchase all premium licenses. So the key takeaway here is that you really only have to look at premium licensing if you're going to be doing service management or manufacturing. Now let's take a look at the pricing. Okay, and this once again applies to NAV 2013 and 18 on-prem. So as I had mentioned, we have building blocks. So the first building block was the starter pack, and that was required, and that's $5,000. So people that did purchase NAV when they could would have started off with it as long as it was NAV 2013 or above. They would have started with the starter pack, and they would have gotten 3 full user licenses. Now, for companies that are on the starter pack, and maybe they need service management or manufacturing, they can do a one-time purchase for $10,000 and get that additional functionality. The other component is our users. So a full user is $3,000, regardless of whether you're on the starter or the extended pack. And then a limited user is $600. And yesterday I had talked about the difference between a full and a limited. And if someone was not on that call, I think the key thing to remember is that a limited is a very small subset. It allows someone to read all information depending on the permissions that they've been granted. So they can access all the information as read-only. They can run reports, and they can have a very limited function. For instance, maybe they're only using NAV to do time entry or enter a purchase quote. That would be a good example to be a limited user. Now we're going to take a look at the Business Central licensing investment. So we have 2 flavors for Business Central licensing. Once again, you have the on-prem, and then we have the cloud. So the on-prem allows you to make a one-time purchase, and you would own a perpetual license. So you could put it on your own server, you could put it in another data center, but you own that license. The cloud version allows you to subscribe to a number of users that you need, and you pay a fee per user per month. So as we had noted before, there was two types of full users in Business Central. We have the Essential. So if you were going to purchase, that would be $2,000 one-time fee. And if you're subscribing to the cloud, that would be $45,000. And on the premium side, the premium is slightly higher because the premium includes all of the essential functionality as well as service management and manufacturing. So it's $2,800 for the one-time purchase, and if you're subscribing, it's $65,000. Team users are 400, and that's regardless of whether you're on Essential or Premium, and it's $8 for the subscription. When it comes to annual maintenance, you only pay annual maintenance if you have a perpetual license or an on-prem license. If you're in the cloud, there is no annual maintenance. Okay, so how do we transition functionality? Well, basically, we have two different products. So on the Business Central, we would move from Essential to Premium. So when an order is placed for one Premium user, then all of the Essential users will need to move to Premium on the per user per month subscription. Because I had mentioned in a prior screen, you cannot have a hybrid. If you're on NAV 2013 to 2018 and you need to add that additional functionality for manufacturing or service management, then you just need to do a one-time purchase of the extended pack, which is $10,000. So I know that's a lot of information, and hopefully you're going to walk away with a piece of information you didn't know, but I'd like to open it up now for questions.
Thank you, Pat. We do have a few questions. Can I start with the starter pack and then move to the extended pack?
Yes, that is, and that's probably what we recommend doing.
Okay, thank you. Why would I need to move to the extended pack though?
Okay, so really the only reason that companies would move to the extended pack is that they need manufacturing or service management, or the extended pack is used in NAV, you would need some project management or job functionality. There is some job functionality in the starter pack, but it's limited. So we have to take a look to see what exactly the company would be doing.
Okay, thank you. And I think I missed this. What is the cost difference in moving to the extended pack?
To move from the premium to the extended is, let me just go back here. If you're on-prem, it's an $800 difference to go from Essential to Premium, but if you're in the cloud, it's a $20 difference.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And is there additional licensing cost to be able to do development, create, install extensions?
Yes. So on the on-prem license, that we have two different products that you can purchase. One is $8,000, and that is allows you to do it's called the application builder, and that pretty much allows someone to do most of their development other than changing code units and posting routines. If a company wants to be able to change the posting routines and code units, then they would get the solution developer, and that's $28,000. Now, on some of the subscription models, those development tools are not available. So we have to really take a look at what someone has and what they want to do.
Okay, thank you. And does the licensing requirements change when moving to the extended pack?
I'm not quite sure I understand. Does the licensing requirements change when moving to the extended pack? Okay, so if you're asking, like, if I have my 3 full users in the starter pack and now I'm moving to extended, you don't have to do anything with the users. You just purchase the one-time extended pack for 10,000, and then those 3 users or however many users you have in your system inherently get all that additional functionality. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And if I move to the extended pack, do I
Mhm.
need to move all of my licensing over or just those users that need the extended functionality?
Okay, so there's a difference between the starter and extended. So think of that as the building blocks. I start with the starter pack for 5. I move up to the extended pack for 10. Regardless of how many users I have, whether I have those initial 3 users from the starter pack or I have 100 users, it's still $10,000 for me to move up. And all those users get that functionality. So there's no additional user cost. It's just you're purchasing that extended pack for the 10.
Okay, thank you. If anybody has any additional questions that you would like Pat to go over, please feel free to type those in the questions box and we'll get those addressed.
Right. And I thank anyone who was able to attend the session. And I'm always available with either via a phone call or my email, which I just posted here. Feel free to reach out to me. I've worked with a lot of different companies on licensing issues, trying to work out what would work best for their particular situation. And I'm more than happy to have a conversation with you.
All right. Well, thank you, Pat, for presenting today, and to everyone on today's webinar, or if you're watching on demand, we thank you for joining us. And we do have a few more webinars coming soon. Next Tuesday, February 18th, we have 2. In the morning, we have Bryce Menadu from Innovia Consulting, and he will be presenting on part 3 of his continued series on Hello Extensions, your Business Central customization. And in the afternoon, we have Stacy Dose from Avalara, and she will be presenting on sales tax play-by-play, how to tackle economic nexus with your ERP. So check out our website for more of our upcoming events, and that's inovia.com/events. And Inovia has a podcast going on. If you haven't heard of it already, it's called the Inovia Conversation. We want to encourage you to listen to our selection that Steve and Jeff have provided to us over the last year. They do about 2 episodes a month, and you can find out about all the different podcast platforms to listen to on our podcast page, and that's inovia.com/podcast. So check out our podcast selection and subscribe so you'll be notified when those new episodes air. Our annual customer conference is coming up on May 20th and 21st here in South Bend at Notre Dame. And contact your rep or visit our conference page where we have all the details for our conference. And that website is inovia.com/conferences. This is a free event to attend, and we would love to have you. So register now so you don't miss out on this great event. All right, well, thank you again, everyone, for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you on another Inovia webinar. Have a great day, everyone.